This is Joe Pugh for IFLTV. We're here in London. We've just had the launch press conference versus Liam Cameron 2 live on the 20th of April, Easter Sunday. Ben, get this over the line.
Oh, delighted. It was, I thought the fight was definitely going to happen, and then I didn't think it was going to happen, and now it's happening. Delighted. I think fans will be delighted as well. I think it's the fight that the fans want to see. I think it's the fight that both the fighters want. So obviously when that happens, you just want to make the fight.
He had another opponent on the table. So it's all happened quick. He actually said it was for more money as well.
Yeah, I'm surprised to hear that. I think, don't know if that's politics or anything. Surprised to hear that, but the main thing is the fight's on. We announced it today. And yeah, delighted.
Tyler Denny back and Lee Cutler versus Sam Eggington, which I think is probably going to be fight of the night. That's an unbelievable fight. Yeah, happy to get the full card out. I'm sure there'll be one or two additions, but the bulk of it.
Yeah, there's a couple of more big fights to announce, but we wanted to go to Birmingham a lot more than we have done yet. We were going to headline with Whittaker a couple of times. Didn't happen. Saudi happened. Injury happened. Whatever happened. So good to be there. Obviously Fraser Clark as well, which is incredible to see him back this quickly in a great fight. Tyler Denny as well, and that fight between Sam Eggington and Lee Cutler, which will be unbelievable. But I'm just delighted to start in the Midlands. I think this will be the first of many. I think it's going to sell ridiculously well. And Wardley Clark was on Easter Sunday last year and broke records on Sky Sports. So doing it again, and it's a huge fight. What happened? Spencer Oliver. So I'm at ringside, and I can see Spencer speaking to Martin, and I'm thinking, what's going on here? So I'm listening in, and it went from, do you want to fight Anthony Joshua, to this sort of pandemonium around, so are you going to fight him? And Martin's there like, yeah, I want to fight him. And then Spencer's like, so is it on? And Martin's like, yeah, I want it on. I think it's going to happen. Suddenly, Spencer's coming over saying, Ben Shalom, I've just heard the huge news, breaking news. Martin Bakole's just revealed it's all done. It's on. It's in the Congo. Anthony Joshua and Martin Bakole. I know Martin's fighting on May the 2nd, but I just thought, you know what? What a ridiculous... by the way, me and Spencer are good friends, so I just said, yeah, it's on. We're off to the Congo next week, and it's signed. First of all, Martin Bakole's not announcing that fight ringside before Adam Azim, is he? And then I is on his own with Spencer Oliver. I just couldn't believe what was going on. So Martin Bakole's had all his words taken out. Spencer's come over to me with the big reveal. Martin's just told me it's on, and I just thought, yeah, of course, Spence. You know, we know Martin's fighting FA Jabba May the 2nd. What I will say is, I do believe that fight can happen. I do believe it should happen. I do believe I want it. I do believe Martin wants it. I do believe Anthony Joshua wants it. I believe His Excellency wants it. I believe Eddie Hearn doesn't want it. So that fight happens if I think Eddie's the last piece in the jigsaw, and then that fight 100% happens.
What's your conversation with Eddie like after?
Funny, I was just laughing. I said, surely you know my sense of humour by now. I've got Spencer coming over telling me we're off to the Congo in a month or two to fight Anthony Joshua because Martin's just announced it before Adam Azim. But anyway, it's a fight that I hope happens. But there's a big task in hand for Martin, which is the final eliminator against FA Jabba on May the 2nd.
I want to ask you about Fran Hennessy. A little bit of online drama following on from that press conference. I know Brad Skeet put a post out on Instagram. I know she's on the card now, but yeah, what was it like? Why did we get to that stage where there was being Instagram posts put out?
Look, to be honest, I think it was just miscommunication a bit between myself and Mick Hennessy. I don't speak to Fran or Sav directly. Was with Fran and the team on Wednesday. Went for lunch with Bradley and Mick and Francesca, and she's on the card. She's a fabulous talent, and yeah, delighted that she's on.
And Savannah Marshall?
Looking at something else now. Sometimes you only have a budget, and this is sometimes hard for fighters to understand, is, you know, you have a budget. You've been given that. That's all you've got to spend on the card. So even if they want X or Y, and it's you can't, you know, and that's all it was. And you know, we've had an unbelievable time, and we've put so much effort into Savannah Marshall's career, and we'll look for something else, but it can't be on that card.
Were you disappointed though that it got to that? Because I know you have got a close relationship with the Hennessy's and have done for a long time.
I was upset, yeah. I was upset, yeah. But I think we move on.
Okay, last two things. Liam Smith, he's made some comments and he got paid less in the second Eubank fight than he did in the first. First of all, I thought all this beef with you and Liam was done. I think Frankie Stringer played a part in that. Yeah, what happened?
Don't believe it was less. I think all I'll say, because, you know, it is private and things like that, but I sent Liam Smith and I guaranteed him that a box office event or a massive payday, his career highest payday, I had a headline in Liverpool, I had to do everything I could to get Chris Eubank Jr., who had no reason to fight Liam Smith, to fight Liam, which is a tough fight for him, not for a title, not for anything. Managed to get it in Manchester, so close to his hometown, and delivered it twice. Of course, there's a rematch clause in with Chris Eubank Jr. We allowed for that, contracted it beforehand, and I think it was his 2 career highest paydays, and yeah, we think we delivered everything we promised and gave him the biggest nights and the 2 best box office events. But as you said, we work together now, so I don't want to on Frankie Stringer. So, you know, I spoke to him afterwards. I think yeah, everyone says things and we move on.